Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another breakfast with Blaha. And today we're having steak and steamed vegetables. All right, let's talk a little bit about dietary fat and injury prevention. And let's talk about why it matters. I've kind of said in the past, and I took this back a long time ago, I've told people before, and I've worked with these methods and they don't actually work, that, hypothetically we can run really low fat diets and high carbohydrate diets and gain less body fat when bulking. Now, it's a nice hypothesis, but it doesn't work, does it? Why? You're still in a calorie surplus. You're still eating fat. And under normal circumstances, humans don't store carbohydrates as dietary fat, right? Under normal conditions. What is normal conditions? Adequate dietary fat. And the data shows, and I've seen Alan Aragon put up stuff about this over the years. The data shows we have, when dietary fat goes below 10% of your calories, what happens? We actually start seeing some de novo lipogenesis. It doesn't actually happen normally, by the way. You don't really see any carbs stored as fat under normal conditions. When dietary fat gets too low, they start storing as fat. Right? There's no way out of this conundrum with too big of a surplus. Also, when the surplus is there, you're storing the dietary fat you eat. You're still eating some. People are like, well, if it's under 10%, what if it's 8% of my calories? Well, and you're bulking on 4,000 calories. That's still over 300 calories of fat. You're in a surplus. You don't think that 300 calories of fat adds up real quick before any de novo lipogenesis? So it doesn't work. And again, we could argue about, well, the extra insulin response from the carbs. Yeah, but if you do a better diet, your insulin sensitivity is higher and you need less insulin. Also, protein is insulinogenic. If anything, to stay leaner, probably jacking your protein way up would be better. I'm just pointing that out. But here's the downside of all this. It puts us into low fat, puts us into dietary deficiency, right? Puts us into essential fatty acid deficiencies. It puts us into fat-soluble vitamin deficiencies. When I say more fat in our diet, I don't mean we need to throw in a bunch of butter. I'm talking about heavy cream. I'm not talking about you guys eating a ton of pure saturated fat. Not what I'm saying. I'm talking actually about healthier fats. I'm talking about polyunsaturated fats, monounsaturated fats. And keeping saturated fat actually within the normal recommended levels, right? Which is what? No more than 10% of your calories. We could put it in grams, but it's going to be a little different. Serious athletes handle these things better on higher calorie diets. But usually recommended that it doesn't exceed about 10% of your total calories. Okay, reasonable. In other words, 300 calories from saturated fat, if you're on a 4,000 calorie diet, is probably acceptable. And that's still not very much. That's not that many grams. That's pretty low grams. But I digress. Dietary deficiency actually causes a higher risk of injury, right? Causes a higher risk of injury. Being deficient in any of your polyunsaturated, yes, omega-6 is essential. And when people go and they start looking at how much you need, they're like, well, because I read in these 12 different diet books that Americans get way too much polyunsaturated fat, too much omega-6. I promise you, you don't. Are you eating a whole jar of peanut butter or something? Why do Americans get too much? They're deep frying their food. Okay? Deep frying their food, in theory, is why they may be getting too much. But if you don't eat French fries, a big pile of French fries and fried chicken 3 times a day, that's not you. Go look at what the minimum amounts are. The RDA, there's recommendations on omega-6, and it's higher than most people realize. It's something like 20 grams. Plus, you need a couple grams of omega-3. These are your essential stuff. This is for optimal nutrition and health. All right, we're up to a couple hundred calories of polyunsaturated fats every day. That's just to reach your essential fatty acids. And you can eat a really high-fat diet and fall way short of those. You come back over to the keto tards, drinking heavy cream. Yeah, you're deficient in omega-3 and omega-6. I don't care that you're getting 2,000 calories a day from butter and heavy cream. You're deficient in your essential fats. Probably deficient in some of your fat-soluble vitamins still, which is our other point. And there is data on this, by the way. We know that when they've looked at least in endurance athletes, that the lower the percentage of their calories that come from fat every day, the higher their rate of injury was. There was a very, very, very strong correlation found there. And it's largely going to be causation would be due to dietary deficiency. You don't have your polyunsaturated to control inflammation. That's a big one. Right? Saturated fats pro-inflammatory, polyunsaturated anti-inflammatory. Monounsaturated, mildly anti-inflammatory. They have a lot of health benefits. Then we come over to all your fat-soluble vitamins, right? Your vitamin A. Now that's if you want retinoids and things, right? Instead of, you can get with a lower fat diet, you can get beta carotene in large amounts that your body can convert into retinols. So it's a precursor, and you'll probably be okay. You have better insurance with retinols. You need dietary fat for that. Vitamin E is a big one. Vitamin E is a big one. It's almost impossible to get adequate vitamin E on a low-fat diet. All right, come back over to its antioxidant status and its impact on collagen. Okay, tendons, joints. Collagen is not just your skin, guys. It's not just about having luxurious, beautiful skin. It affects your tendons, your joints. All right, vitamin E. Usually only found in higher fat foods, number one. Number two, fats necessary to absorb it. Same thing we get over to vitamin K, critical for health. Critical for bone health. Bone mineralization, much like vitamin D. Vitamin D is also fat soluble. In other words, you need enough fat in your diet to absorb these things properly. So what do we have so far? Bones, tendons, joints, all be compromised by not enough fat in your diet to absorb these fat-soluble vitamins. Not getting the appropriate amounts of the right fats. What do we get? Higher inflammation. Right? We're not controlling inflammation as much. Higher risk of injury. You get beat up more from your training. All right. Solution is simple, and this is just part of eating a balanced, healthy diet. All right, chicken and brown rice is not going to cut it. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.